This is Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details. Here are your hosts, Joe, Matt, and Chris.
We are about to watch two of the best running backs in the 2024 season face off against each other on Wild Card Weekend. It is the Philadelphia Eagles with Saquon Barkley and the Green Bay Packers with Josh Jacobs. And honestly, these are two absolutely outstanding premier running backs, and both of these offenses are very, very good at the run, and they're going to have to be because they rely on it from an offensive standpoint on both sides of the ball. But it is going to be an absolute, hands down, grind out slugfest. And the Packers' biggest problem may just be their defense. But I'm not doing the key matchups here, all right? I'm not doing the X factors. That's why I got these guys with me on this one. You know that right here. It's Wild Card Weekend, baby. NFL playoffs, and it's Packers, Eagles. And I'm going to go to Chris on this one first. Who is your X factor in this game that could decide it for either team?
Ooh, X factor. I mean, you brought up two good points. So obviously Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs, I think for both teams are extremely important. I'm actually going to go again with the QBs. You know, we've talked about that on the AFC side. I think the QBs are going to play a huge factor in it because I also think that the rushing attack on both sides are probably going to be completely focused on the defensive side. So I think it's going to come down to the QBs and how the QBs are going to react. My biggest question is Jalen Hurts going to start? That's my question. So is he going to start? Because I know right now he is still in concussion protocol. As far as I've read, I haven't seen anything that shows that he has gotten out of protocol. And you have a huge matchup coming up. So is Jalen Hurts going to start? I can't see the Packers doing all they can to doing all they can to eliminate Barkley. I would hope so. That pretty much is their number one go-to. I know some of y'all have brought it up in the past as far as like basically it's just him, right? Like outside of that, they don't have a great as far as when you start looking at statistics and their offense as far as passing, I think they're bottom of the league in passing to begin with. So if you're looking at that, you're already bottom 5, and that's with Jalen Hurts. So if you're bringing in your backup quarterback as your passing offense, so to speak, that's probably going to have to kind of run the game. If Jalen Hurts can't go, I kind of lose. But I've been so focused on the Eagles since the Lions got hurt, which I have obviously came off of after their last performance. I have absolutely no concern whatsoever anymore about that defense at all. I really thought the Eagles would probably win it all because of the Lions' defensive issues, but the Packers' defense has kind of come alive, I think, and I think they are going to make a very huge point on trying to stop Saquon Barkley. So then the question becomes, what can your passing do? Because they already know that they're bottom 5 in passing. So if you don't have Jalen Hurts, that screws you over. So you're on the other side of the ball, though. Also, you have Jordan Love, right? So he has also to step up because that takes your rushing off of you because that defense, as far as the other side of the ball, is top 2 in rushing defense. If I'm not starting the number 1 in rushing defense. So you also have to rely on your quarterback in Jordan Love. And like, what can he do? Can he not do like terrible interceptions or have terrible turnovers at the wrong time? Again, we know it's playoffs, so playoff changes. This defense forces fumbles. They are number 1 in forced fumbles. So he's going to have to rely on himself to make the right decisions at the right time in his quarter, where his running backs are going to have to be in the right places. And I think that's also going to be a key matchup as far as like, is he going to be able to do what he needs to do to get this specific win? Because that's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to quarterbacks by a long shot, because I think the running backs in some essence are going to be taken out of it. So if I'm looking at that, to me, that's the biggest matchup, is which quarterback is going to have the best performance.
And you're exactly right. Both of these quarterbacks are actually dealing with injuries right now. Jordan Love left week 18 with an injury. There was an elbow injury. I don't know why he was playing anyway. He's on the depth. Is that smoke and mirrors? What is that about? Shouldn't have been out there. You already had your playoff spot locked up. I don't see what the point you're out there playing your quarterback, but I digress. Jalen Hurts is still in concussion protocol. And as of Monday, Nick Sirianni had no data. He's got no new updates. It's he's hoping to come back the 12th, and the 12th is when they play. So this would be a game time decision for Jalen Hurts. And if he plays, just how ready to go is he going to be after not playing for essentially 3+ weeks? So this is definitely something right now where they have a lot of questions, but that's not the only problems that the Eagles have from their passing attack, which you called out as a major X factor here, is the fact that A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith are also on the injury report right now, and are questionable and have a return date of the 12th. So there's a lot of questions right now. And if the Packers do load the box to completely try to neutralize Saquon Barkley, which is a tough task to do, don't get me wrong. We saw the man backwards hurdle a Jaguars defender this season. The guy will find a way. But it does bring up the question, because your second quarterback on the roster is Kenny Pickett. And if he's not ready to go, you have Tanner McKee. So there is major drop-off behind Jalen Hurts from just a mobility standpoint and a passing standpoint on this offense if it's not ready to go. And it could really change things for the Eagles. But, Matt, what is the key matchup in this game? Outside of what Chris Ray says an X factor, and what I've already pointed out as the wide receivers here, that could really decide this for either team.
Yeah, I think Chris brought up a really good one with Jalen Hurts versus that Packers secondary. I mean, obviously, I think Hurts is going to play off that concussion. I do. The Packers' run defense as well is 7th in football. They won't shut down Saquon Barkley, but I think he'll be good enough to kind of not let him take over the game. So I think Jalen Hurts in that pass offense, which was actually 4th worst in the NFL in yards per game this season, and we've seen a lot of drama from A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni and those guys this year, and we've seen Devontae Smith drop some big balls and stuff like that. So, and the Packers have the 13th ranked pass defense as well. So I think that was a good call, Chris. I think Jalen Hurts is going to be really important whether he plays or not. And then if he does play, I think he's going to be a key factor in the game. But listen, I think my key matchup is going to be Josh Jacobs against this Eagles run defense, because I think Josh Jacobs holds the key to giving the Packers a chance in this game, because a lot of people think that this team, the Packers team, rides on Jordan Love's shoulders. No, it does not. It is Josh Jacobs' show, and it relies, and Josh Jacobs backpacks this team. Let's just be point blank, period. That's what Josh Jacobs has done. He has led the 5th best rush offense in yards per game this season in football, 150 basically yards per game from the Packers rush offense this year. And they're going against the number 10 run defense in football in Philadelphia. So we talked about this on a previous segment, and Chris talked about it a little bit as well. Ball control. Keep Saquon Barkley and that Eagles offense off the damn field. We do not want to see Saquon Barkley on the field if we are the Green Bay Packers. So Josh Jacobs, again, getting 5-6 yards a pop, anywhere from in that 4 to 6 yard range as far as yards a pop would be great as far as the Green Bay Packers go. Just keep Saquon Barkley off the field and give the ball to Josh Jacobs should be the game plan for the Green Bay Packers. Plus, the Eagles secondary as well, and their pass defense, best in the NFL by a mile in yards per attempt. Eagles quarterbacks going up against the Eagles defense, 5.5 yards per attempt. That's by far the best in the league for the Eagles defense. So Jordan Love being banged up, he was already going to have a hard time throwing anyway, especially without Christian Watson, who went down to an ACL injury as well. I know they've got a lot of other young, talented receivers in that receiving core, but Christian Watson's going to be a big loss as far as a deep threat goes. So especially with how good that Eagles pass defense is, Jordan Love being banged up, and the receiver core being banged up for the Packers, Josh Jacobs is going to absolutely need to dominate this game on the ground, and he is going up against the best rush defense in the NFL in the Philadelphia Eagles. So that matchup to me is going to be the biggest key. Josh Jacobs going up against that rush defense for the Philadelphia Eagles, because if Josh Jacobs can't run the ball effectively, this might get ugly real quick for the Packers.
And you're 100% right. I think Josh Jacobs, like you said, to your point, is the key to this team. He is the key to this offense, and he has to be at the top of his game. And like you said, ball control is going to be a big thing, because the one thing running backs need is they need to get in a rhythm. They need to see the field. They need to keep that rhythm going, and they need to have the ball in their hands. We've seen multiple times this year, I wouldn't say multiple times, but down the stretch here a little bit, where Saquon kind of broke loose towards the 4th quarter a little bit when they're trying to ice the game and they're really focusing on the run game. But there were a few games where he kind of got bottled up early on. And so it was one of those things where, like, we kind of had to do that and kind of take care of that and all that stuff like that. So it is definitely something they need to do. They need to take care of that and really get that focused in for them. And honestly, for me, I'm 100% in agreement with that. So the one thing I will say is that right now, the Philadelphia Eagles defense is currently giving up about 104 yards per game to the run. They have given up 9 touchdowns against the run all season. And so that's about, it's about half a touchdown a week. So they are really good against the run defense. So Josh Jacobs is going to need to have probably the game of his career if the Packers want to survive this. But that leads us to our best part of this video. And the best part of this video is prediction time, baby. We're going to tell you who's going to win Packers Eagles wild card weekend. And you know what? I'm going to let Matt go first on this one. I think Matt's got a good prediction in his bag. I think he was having some camera issues. He probably saw him go like this a little bit. He just couldn't quite focus on that beautiful, beautiful face he's got there. So Matt, now that you're in focus, let's go ahead and let's hear this prediction. Packers, Eagles, who you got?
See, ladies and gentlemen, the camera wasn't focused, but I stay locked in. Okay, the camera might not have been focused,
that's right.
But your boy is always locked in on what he's got to do. Okay, and by the way, I say I was locked in, but I think I might have said that the Eagles had the best run defense. They have the best pass defense. But anyway, just speed right by that. I'm locked in. Okay, that's what you guys need to know. I'm freaking locked in on this prediction. Okay, and listen, last year the Packers were the 7 seed. And you want to know who they played in the first round? The 2-seeded NFC East champion. That time it was the Cowboys, but they played them in the wild card round. And you guys want to know what happened? The Packers went crazy. Jordan Love went crazy. Their veteran running back at the time, Aaron Jones, went crazy. They went off, and the Packers absolutely dominated the Cowboys. And we have another situation this year. The 7-seeded Packers facing the 2-seeded NFC East champ, Philadelphia Eagles. And this year, the Packers played in the best division in NFL history. We talked about this on previous episodes. They played in the best division in NFL history. These guys are battle tested. They know what it takes to win games. However, when they played against the teams in the best division in NFL history, the Packers went 1-5 in their own division, and the one win was by a field goal block at the buzzer at Chicago. So with no Jair Alexander, he's not going to be playing this game. No Christian Watson, like I mentioned. Jordan Love has a banged up elbow. The Packers don't have a shot to me to win this game. There is no shot that the Green Bay Packers win this game. I think the Eagles are going to be up 27-10 late in the fourth quarter. The Packers will get like a gimme garbage time touchdown to make it 27-17, but it won't even be that close. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to dominate this game against the Green Bay Packers, and they're going to move on to the divisional round.
I mean, yeah, it just seems like there's too much for them to overcome. I mean, as of right now, this game is predicted to be pretty close. I think that they have the Eagles are only favored by 3.5 points, but I think a lot of that has to do with the health status of Jalen Hurts. I think that if Jalen Hurts is healthy, this game balloons really, really fast. I think that, Chris brought up a good point that, the Eagles haven't really been throwing the ball that well this year. And you could argue they haven't really had to throw the ball this year, and that's why it's not that great. They still have playmakers out there. Don't even think they don't. Although, like I said earlier in this video, that they're dealing with some health problems on that roster right now. They might not be available, or they might not be 100%. Which, let's be fair, it's fucking wild card weekend. You're in the playoffs. No one's 100%. You're lucky if you're fucking 90. All right, 70 is probably average. Okay, so everyone's out there gritting their teeth, getting through it, okay? But if Jalen Hurts plays, which I do believe that, he's going to play, I think he's back. Obviously, concussions are not something easy to come back from. It was something that we had already talked about, how much concern we had for the Eagles in a previous video if Jalen Hurts doesn't come back. But I still think the Eagles get this done. I still think that they're able to do that because there's just too much missing from this Packers team right now. I think this is the one matchup the Packers did not want in all of their, worst nightmares. They did not want to see a Philadelphia Eagles team in the wild card round. They're like, give us the Rams, give us the Bucks, please God, don't give us the Eagles. And they got the one team that I think they just don't match up well with right now, even with Josh Jacobs and everything he's able to do this year. I'm thinking this is a 2-score game. I'm probably going to go 24-10 Eagles. And that leads us.
Chris needs the pick.
Yeah, I'm about to.
Oh,
Let's get into it.
Okay,
that leads
pause,
us,
man.
Yeah, sorry, I had a little tickle in my throat. I had a tickle in my throat. I was getting to
drink
it.
some water, asshole.
He said no drinking water on set.
Yeah.
I drink it after every time I speak.
Now you can drink water, but I can't. All All right.
I'm running this show.
No crying in baseball.
So we have one more prediction left, and I apologize for that little tirade right there. I'm leaving that in. It's not getting cut. We're leaving it, all right? It's going to be in the video. We are entertaining, and we're here for it, and I have water all over me right now. It's great. But Chris, are you with us on this? Are the Eagles winning this game?
Yes. I mean, I think that's an easy answer. I don't feel like it's a hard one. But I will say I am going to put it in the point of it depends on if Jalen Hurts is healthy. That's my concern. I know everybody feels like, oh, he'll be back, but it's concerning to me that it's been this long and he still has not passed concussion protocol at this point. So that is my biggest concern, because I think this changes if he isn't going to be there. If he's not going to be able to go, this is going to make a lot of changes. But as of right now, if we're expecting Jalen Hurts to get on that field, you have to think that this is Eagles territory. Okay, I told y'all a couple weeks ago, I got to see them in all their glory, if you want to call it glory. If you have to go and deal with this fan base, with the Eagles, at home, in Philadelphia, in the weather that they're going to be dealing with, not that the Packers are, not prone to know exactly how that goes, because they get a lot of bad weather themselves. But it's the Eagles fans in particular that you have to deal with. There's really no way you can say that the Eagles don't come out with this. You expect Saquon Barkley. Yes, they're going to try to limit him as much as possible. You still expect Saquon Barkley to be Saquon Barkley. And you still expect Jalen Hurts to be Jalen Hurts if he's able to go, right? It's your last, basically, it could be very much your last game of the season, right? It's a win or go home such a scenario. He's not going to stop at all. If he can make runs, he's going to make runs. If he can make plays, he's going to make plays. You expect him to be out there. He's probably not going to have to do a lot when it comes. If Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts cohesively, running back wise, can keep that going, then he's not going to have to make a lot of throws down the field. Yes, you have some banged up wide receivers, but if you only have to get them here and there, you don't expect much, to be honest. Like, he doesn't have to do much. Saquon Barkley kind of takes care of it all for him. So I do see it. I do see it being a little bit of a higher, probably outlandish game, Eagles wise. I think I had them, if I remember correctly, because I can't see exactly where my stat was. It was at like 36 to 15 or 16, somewhere in that range. So I'm just going to go 36 to 17. We'll put it that way.
This has been Between the Uprights. Football is life. The rest is just details.